So we are recording for heavy. Why do you think you were targeted this week?
You know, that's still a question that you and I are both trying to understand. But to be honest with you, I really do feel like the reason why I was targeted this week is because Kylan is scared of anyone who has beat him in this house. And one of those people is your girl sitting right here. So for me, I am unapologetically myself and I own everything that I do. And I really feel like I was targeted because Kylan couldn't read me. And that is exactly how I wanted it, because I did not trust Kylan. When you put me up on the block second week in this house, as much as you want to rebuild a relationship, you telling me the week before you were going to use the veto, but on Sarah Beth is not trying to build trust here, dude. Like, it just ain't going to work. But no, I genuinely feel like he knew in a final two, he could not beat me. And he thought that I was the most unpredictable person to his personal game, which is exactly why I was targeted.
It did not seem like you had much of an alliance outside of your team. Why was that?
You know, for me, I did have alliances outside of my team. Obviously, I was working with Ozza and Big D, but I did have the Kingslayers alliance with Ozza, Tiffany, Claire, and myself. I had the Silent Assassins with Tiffany and Claire, just the three of us. And then DX and I really had an unspoken alliance of like, I'm going to look out for you. You're going to look out for me after our blindside against Christian last week. So for me, I was working with many people outside of my team. It was just no formal alliance. I didn't feel like that was needed. I don't think many of those exist this season unless I'm just completely blind to them. But a lot of people are working in 2s, 3s, and 4s. And with the team twist, it's hard to kind of branch out without being seen as a target. So you really got to be careful as to who you create alliances with, because you got to feel 100% with them in this house, especially when you start the game in teams. You got to feel 100 if you're going to go for an alliance.
Who do you think is in the best position in the house right now and why?
I truly feel like Xavier is in the best position in this house. He is such a big threat and no one sees it. Like, he's just playing the most blind game in that regard, which I applaud him for. I think it's absolutely impressive on his end. He did not need to come down from that wall. He's a physical threat. He's a mental threat. And he's also a puzzle threat. So for me, Xavier's playing the most under the radar game, but he is a huge threat in that house. So for me, I think he's playing an excellent game so far.
Why do you think, who do you think is in the worst position in the house and why?
I'll be honest, after last week, I truly think that Kylan and Sarah Beth are in a really bad position. I think Kylan less than Sarah Beth, but I really do feel like Sarah Beth is going to be the next one walking through those doors. I just feel like people don't trust her. After someone tells you sitting next to you on the block to throw the veto to you twice so that you can get off the block and I have to stay up there, it's not really the best look for you, Sarah Beth. So for me, I think Sarah Beth and Kylan's true colors are both starting to show. Kylan's really did his last week on HOH when I was evicted. Sarah Beth's really did when she hit the block. So for me, I think their true colors are going to end up ruining their games, unfortunately. Unless they don't. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.